All right. So UFC 305. This is your boy, Mr. Fight Companion. UFC 305 just happened last night. And boy, was that a fucking entertaining card or what, man? I think that's one of the most entertaining cards as of late, because there have been a lot of boring grappling matches, serving as sorry excuses for UFC fights. So I think this card was one of the most entertaining of the few recent ones. So without further ado, let's get to the main event. Starting from Li Jingliang going to the main event with Adesanya and Drakkar. So let's start with Li Jingliang, aka Lurch, fighting the new up and comer Prates. It was a good fight. I had Li Jingliang winning. I didn't know this fight was going to happen until late. And I like Li Jingliang. I know Prates was the favorite, but I just wanted to go with an underdog here. And again, I was wrong. Li Jingliang kind of faded as the fight progressed. Prates was good. I didn't really see anything extremely special from Prates. Like, Prates was able to connect, but I feel like that was because of his longer reach. So if Prates is fighting any longer fighters, I don't know anything else special he'd bring to the fight. But he's still a fighter to watch. He was able to put Li Jingliang away, and that's that. He connected. Li Jingliang went down and went the fuck to sleep, even though he's never been knocked out before, I guess. He was finally knocked out, so I guess there was a clock on that chin, and that clock fucking struck 12. Next fight, Bam Bam Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I had Bam Bam losing this fight. I was correct, of course. Bam Bam has been on a heck of a losing streak, losing to fighter after fighter ever since he lost to Volkov. And then of course he lost the fight before that too. But I became a Bam Bam fan before the Bam Bam Volkov fight, and I thought Bam Bam was gonna win. I thought he was gonna trade with Volkov and just connect on the better punches. Instead, Volkov knocked Bam Bam out somewhat easily with a Darce, and that was that. So I knew Bam Bam was going to lose this fight. Jairzinho, he's a great striker for a heavyweight, and he was able to connect. I was screaming at Jairzinho to utilize his jab because he looked a bit docile to start the fight. He looked real scared of Bam Bam's power, even though Bam Bam didn't fucking swing or land anything starting out in that fight. And Jairzinho somewhat utilized his jab, and that's what caused him to win. He was connecting, and he essentially dominated Bam Bam. But lo and behold, one of the judges did have the fight 30-27 Bam Bam, which was disgusting. I think that judge needs to be fucking fired and also checked for drugs. Bam Bam lost that fight in every fucking manner, in every fucking version, in every fucking aspect. And that's that. Jairzinho wins, and who knows? Jairzinho moves up to fight, one of the top most heavyweights, and let's see how Jairzinho does, man. Apparently, every time Jairzinho gets close to the belt, he shits himself. So let's see if he does it again. You never really fucking know with that guy. Next fight, I thought this fight was gonna be really boring. Dan Hooker versus Mateusz Gamrot. I thought this fight was gonna be fucking like really boring. I thought Mateusz was really just gonna spam takedowns and just hold Dan Hooker to the ground for the full 5 rounds, and that would be it. Instead, props to Gamrot. He decided to strike with Dan Hooker and make the fight interesting. I think Gamrot was also connecting on a lot of those strikes too, but Dan Hooker kept in there, and he did drop Gamrot twice, although Gamrot did have, like 3 or 4 takedowns. I think the drops were, when Hooker dropped Gamrot, that was more entertaining. And the judges saw that way too, so they did give it to Gamrot in a split decision. I know, to Hooker in a split decision. Gamrot, of course, thought he won because you could arguably say that Gamrot won that fight because he was connecting and he was active with striking and he did get the takedowns. And based off of previous fights, judges have given a lot more weight to takedowns. So I thought Hooker won though too because Hooker was just bringing the energy. And you never really know what the judges truly judge these fights off of, but Hooker was bringing the energy. He did drop Gamrot a number of times, and he was smiling and laughing during the fucking timeouts. He was really just, it was a classic Dan Hooker fight, and I loved it. I loved it for Dan, and I love that Dan got that win. And, that's that. Dan moves up top 5 lightweight. I don't think he's going to beat any of the top lightweights, but let's see what happens, It's the fight game. Anything is fucking possible. Next fight up, Steve Erceg versus Kai Kara-France. I was also surprised with this fight. Again, a lot of most of the fights on this card I got really wrong. I thought this fight was going to be a masterpiece by Steve Erceg. I thought Steve Erceg was going to just outclass Kai France with the boxing, but instead, Kai Kara has fucking monster power in his hands. We're looking at the Ilia Topuria / Francis Ngannou of the flyweight division, man. This guy connected. All he needed to do was connect a couple times on Steve Erceg, and Steve Erceg went fucking flying. That guy went fucking flying, and then I think he froze up too. Like he connected with one of those punches and just fucking cracked Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg was on the fucking ground like this, fucking both hands out, just fucking spazzing. So yeah, Kai France connected and put fucking Steve Erceg, aka Michael Scott, the fuck out. It was a really sad sight to see. Man, as a Steve Erceg fan, I'm crying, man. That was sad to see. But I am now a newly found Kai France fan because, man, I love what that guy does, especially that whole that haka thing when he goes like this. I like that shit. I'm gonna start doing that. I like that shit, man. I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, let's see what Kai can do. Kai is obviously probably gonna fight Alexandre Pantoja next, and I think that's gonna be a really fun fight to watch. I have to really think about who's gonna win, but I don't think Pantoja can really do what he's accustomed to doing, which is those Hail Mary takedowns after eating a whole bunch of punches. Because I think Kai probably has the skills to be able to finally be the first guy to crack Pantoja's chin and just have him fucking laid out on the canvas. So we'll see what happens for that fight, but great stuff for Kai. Finally, without further ado, we're at the main event. Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis. I had Adesanya winning this fight, and I was wrong. And I do have to get a Springboks jersey now, and I'm not mad about it because Dricus did outclass Izzy here. Izzy didn't show up. I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. Izzy really didn't show up. A lot of Izzy fans would argue that he did and he had good striking, whatever the fuck. He didn't show up. Izzy showed up like Leon Edwards showed up at UFC 304 to fight Bilal Muhammad. He was there. He was striking, but he wasn't there. His heart wasn't in it. Hey, I've got money. I've got a couple belts on me now. Let me just see what happens, and whatever happens, happens. And it's about family and the friends we make along the way and all that fucking self-righteous bullshit. It was disgusting to watch. As an Izzy fan, I'm heartbroken. It's really, really, really hard to be an Izzy fan, and it's getting increasingly hard to be an Izzy fan, man. So fucking hard to be one of his fans, man. Izzy was doing pretty well. He was striking, and I feel like if the fight went the full 5 rounds the way it was going, I think they would have gave it to Izzy because of how the judging was going during the card. Like one of the judges gave the fucking fight to Bam Bam Tuivasa, and Bam Bam got fucking dominated by Jairzinho. So I don't think it's preposterous that the judges would have gave that fight to Izzy. But again, the fight didn't go the full 5. Izzy was getting tagged by like the last 2 strikes on every Dricus blitz. Whenever Dricus would blitz, he'd miss a lot of them, but those last 2 would fucking consistently clip Izzy, and Izzy decided to just keep eating them and keep trying to do that fucking handout Bruce Lee bullshit while still eating the last 2 punches on every Dricus blitz, and it was just frustrating to watch. And then lo and behold, in round 4, Izzy fucking eats one too many Dricus hooks, and he starts wobbling, and instead of choosing to slip out, of Dricus's pressure, Adesanya decides to run away from Dricus and run like halfway around the fucking octagon, and just give his back while he's running, and then Dricus just decides to hop on, set his hooks in, and go for a rear naked, even though it was a neck crank. He was in the rear naked position, and he just fucking choked out Izzy. Izzy gave up. And that's how the fight went. To be fully honest with you guys, this is me being totally clairvoyant, totally clear with you guys as an Izzy fan. Izzy's washed. Izzy is washed. Israel Adesanya, his prime is gone. His prime is so fucking gone. His prime is a ghost right now. His prime is dead and fucking gone. Izzy is washed, okay? And I guess I had to really accept fucking reality after the Sean Strickland fight when he fought Strickland. I know it was a bad matchup, but Izzy just fucking just faded away in that fight. Really just gave up. Even his coach was just asking him, like, he yelling at Izzy, you got to give me something, Izzy. Izzy didn't do shit. Same thing with Drakkar, man. A lot of that fight was Izzy just being dormant, just standing still, not really knowing what the fuck to do at times, and that was it for Izzy. So, yeah, I don't really care who Izzy fights next. He's probably got about one more fight before it's time to drop the gloves, man. That's it. You made your money. It's the same shit with Conor McGregor. You got money now. You made your money, and you have no more hunger left. You're done. You're full. You're fat. It's whatever. I'm not saying that Izzy's like literally fat, but he's mentally fat. Okay, he's stuffed. He's got money. I don't need to fight anymore for nothing. I don't need to be hungry anymore. That's it. Drakkar is hungry. He's young. He showed it in the fight, and that made the result of the fight. So that's really what it was, man. Adesanya didn't show up. Leon Edwards didn't show up. It's really disgusting. Even though I hate Leon Edwards, I like Izzy, and it was really sad to see him not show up for this fight and not really dig deep or show any heart late in the fight to fucking just, give yourself one last go. It was really just sad to watch. Anyway, congrats to Drakkar. Congrats to the South Africans. Congrats to a couple of them Australian men that won, like Kai Kara and Dan Hooker. Jarzinho, we'll see what he does in the future. And that's that, really. There's a lot of other things I can talk about and we'll talk about in future videos, like what Poatan Pereira said in response to Drakkar winning. He's thinking about going back to middleweight. But I'll discuss that in a future video. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for showing up to my live stream last night, bringing all that fucking energy. Thank you for your support. I love that you guys are in my community now. Keep commenting, keep liking my videos, keep talking to me, and I'll talk back. I love y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love you, motherfuckers. Let me know what you think.